Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
We can start for today's session, and the agenda for this session is we will be doing one all round. Go through on whatever things we have learned far. Right from level, dimensions, version or accounts, or what type of sheet is this? I will be presenting you a case study in front of you. You will read the entire case study and you will tell me that what type of accounts we need to build, what type of sheet we need to build. This is the first task. Basically, the first 1 hour of the session will be an interactive session. It could be one of the sessions where you will be much clearer that how you approach any kind of requirements of the client is there. I will present you a case study. You can ask me questions regarding the requirement and I will tell you some things. And you are the implementer now and I am your client, basically. You are going to build this model for me. Sounds good. You will identify what are the accounts, you will identify what type of sheet we will build, and you will identify if there are any levels and dimensions that we require in this user story. I will just present you the case study. I have already sent across this file to you. I think Cloud Foundation will be sending the same because I have already sent the file, including the last tab, which is your case study. Now I have two case studies here. Today, we work on the first one, and the second one is in homework for you. Now, what you do is you just have to read all of the things that you see on the screen, highlighted from here to here. Just take 5 minutes, read all of this, and now you can ask me questions, whatever questions you come, because this is the model requirement that I have drafted and I have given to you. I want to build one PAN version. I want to build two models. I am saying one is this model and second is this model. I am telling you that I need a plan budget version. I am giving you first model where I am going to record my expenses. I have listed down my expenses here of the criteria. In parenthesis, I am saying that this particular thing is bifurcated by type 1, 2 and 3. And then all these expenses are supposed to be fixed expenses, but miscellaneous expenses are supposed to be variable expenses. This kind of requirement I am giving to you. You just read it out once. Take 5 minutes. Let me know once you are done. Just to make it relatable, I am just changing one thing here. I am changing all my stores under CS demo level. We have created this level already. I am going to record my other expenses for all the offices which are there in this level. I have just changed the wordings. And these are the expenses. Let me know if you are done. Any questions on the case study which is there on the screen? Because in general, you are the implementer. You should be asking questions to me. Because not every information should be clear. Because the thing is, you have to build this model in adaptive now. What is the approach from you? After reading this, what is the approach that you will follow? I just have one question. Like we have fixed expenditure as well as variable expenditure, right? Correct. Variable expenditure, is it a percentage of any of the fixed expenditure or on what basis? Is it a percentage of any of the fixed expenditure? Is it a percentage of anything? Or is it just variable in nature? If you read, this is a simple model that I have presented you. All I am saying is I am recording 5 expenses. Can you see 5 expenses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am saying all of the above expenses are fixed expenses except the miscellaneous one. I am just giving you an additional category that 1, 2, 3, 4 are my fixed expenses. And 5th is my variable expenses. That is the only thing. You have fixed this like an expenditure which is fixed throughout the year. Variable. Is it a percentage of the fixed or I can just take a based on an assumption? No, it is just an input assumption. It is a very simple model for us. Now, can you tell me what is the approach for building this model? Now you have learned levels. You have learned model building, the type of the sheet. You have built all types of accounts. Now just tell me how do you go in adaptive and what do you start with after reading this? If you go in adaptive, what do you start with? What should you start? Can I go first? Because this is where you will improve that and understand how much you have learned far and where exactly is the gap that you can work on later. Maybe I will go first. I will just give it a try. The first thing is, I like to identify. The first is like in adaptive, you need to go create your levels. I am just writing here. I am going to create a level. The level. This is the first thing. Under levels. Sounds good. If I take a simple into consideration, if the P&L is already having these accounts, then I would go with the general account. Else, I will take a custom account. Good. Very good. Again, I am adding an additional information here that this is a separate model. This is a separate model, and this model will then flow in your income statement. In that case, what type of model you will build? What type of accounts you will choose? I will choose a standard one. That means custom accounts. Perfect. You are going to choose this as a custom accounts. That means what type of sheet is you are trying to build. If you are using a custom account, then what type of sheet you are trying to build? I would give it no. I would prefer to involve a lot of people in this activity. I would go based on a user defined. What is the problem in level assigned then? In this case, if you do level assigned, you can have access by levels. I meant level. Actually, because levels are based on the cities, right? The cities and stores would be in a particular city, correct? Based on that, I would give access. It will be based on levels. Perfect. Perfect. You will create a level assigned sheet, correct? Level assigned sheet. Now can you tell me inside level assigned sheet, what type of sheet you are trying to build? Is it a standard model cube sheet? Looking at the requirement, there is no requirement of any sales individual's data. It is only stores. I would go for A. I'll go for a cube. I think you gave the explanation right, but you chose the wrong type because you explained it correctly that you don't need it by sales representative. You don't require additional information. You require only by store. If you want it store-wise, I say I can go according to the standard one also, right? The standard sheet as well. But if I'm miming, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Why I didn't go for a standard sheet is because when I go for a standard sheet, in case if I can go levels also right, I will get correct, and I'll go for standard. Perfect. You will create a standard sheet. Now you are just saying you're confused on this, that you said that you will be building a cube sheet. Your row number. I will say row number this and row number this will be contradicting to each other. This and this you know because a custom account cannot. Come here. A cube sheet will have a separate account structure, which is cube accounts. This and this does not go together. As soon as you say that this particular model you want it in a custom account, then it is automatically a standard sheet. A standard sheet. Got it? The only thing, what I was confused of, the levels, for a moment, I kind of mixed levels with dimensions. Stores is a level, right? It's not a dimension. Correct. It's a level. Basically, if you're getting confused, let's open the level structure which we already have created. Because we are using the existing level structure only, which we created under the CF practice demo. This is our CFR demo practice. And I'm saying that inside all the cities, countries, we have certain stores like this 101, 102. We are recording all the expenses by stores here. We already have the store captured in the level structure. Correct. We already have the level structure. That means we do not require any other further dimension. After reading this, do you find a scope of any dimension also involved here? Because you cover stores, you cover the city, you cover the country also in one level here. Store is there, city is there, country is there, and then the roll-up level. Everything is covered in the roll-up structure of levels that we have already created. Anything apart from store you see as a dimension. Do you see your sales representative coming here? Do you see a product coming here? Do you see any kind of a dimension that is even written? It's a no. As soon as I say that I want the data, I want the data. I want the data by. I just writing. Like let's say by a region. Region is not there. By region, I mean to say in a store 101, there is a separate region store 101 too. There is a separate region. Whenever I say the region can be dimension. It can be attribute also. Correct. It's your duty to identify whether I'm planning on this region level or it is only for analysis. As soon as you see this line, your question to me will be that you are using. You want the data by region. Are you going to do planning on that? Are you recording data by regions or you are only doing the analysis or the reporting part of region? That's the question that you should be asking me. At the moment, I don't have this information. It does this particular steps does not require a dimension. This is the correct approach of handling this particular use. Use a story. Ring, are you clear also with this? And do you agree with Thomas? Now, once you've created levels, the levels is already done. I'm just going to write, this is already done. We have the level structure. Do we have the account structure here? Do we have the same account structure created in adaptive as a custom account? Oh no, we have to create it. I will read pending. Pending. Do we have a sheet created for this particular model? Two actions are pending. Now let's read again and just find out the things which we have not addressed here. Let's read once again. Version you can ignore. We have already created a version. Time period. Period is also. Time period is 20 to December. Let's consider Jan to December. Let's consider any practice budget version. And we have already done with the level. Level is done. Time is done. Version is done. Accounts. We have written pending standard sheet. We have written pending. Read again and let's see what things are missing for us. There is one thing that is missing. And you will have to tell me what is that. Because if you don't identify it, we have to create a split. Split needs to be created. Split for miss expenses. That's right. That's right. But now there are two ways to tackle this. If you remember, what is the way that you will choose? You can either split it or you can group it right in the, creating the ledgers. You can either group it there or you can split it in the sheet. Will you ask the question to me for this particular thing? What type of requirement is mine? The reason why I'm telling why I would is because like how I mentioned, when I was an inducer for adaptive, we had this option of bonus where in bonus, there was two departments. Finance consists of accounting as well as FP&A. For that point of view, we had created a split and for bonus split to FP&A, bonus split to accounting team. As well as implementation team, there was a third team that was a Workday team. At that point of time, we had kind of reached out. That's the reason. I would check. Correct. Even I will say that my requirement is also same. I am going to use this type 1 at a different expense. I am going to use type 2 and type 3 for a different thing, but I want it under miscellaneous expense. Now you tell me you will create that in the sheet or in the group of the account structure itself. Can you come again? Can you come again? You would want it in. Will you created this for me in the sheet, or you will create in the account structure itself by group, and inside then you will create the 3 expenses that it rolls up the data. Now in case if you want it to be each levels, or if individually has to be keyed in, maybe I would prefer a split, which would roll up to your miscellaneous expenses. Any which way, if you choose it to be group as an account, or if you do split in the sheet directly. If you choose any of this option, it is directly going to roll up to miscellaneous expenses in both the cases. But if you use this option, you will not be able to use it in the like. You cannot directly address type 1, type 2, and type 3 somewhere else. Suppose in any other model, I want to tackle only type 1 thing. I want the data for type 1 to flow there. Can you use the split option in that case? The answer is no. No, because split is something which you added in the front end of the sheet, and there is nothing in the back end. I would say I want to use this as an option. You would create group for miscellaneous expenses, and you will create a certain accounts there. And that it rolls up to this particular thing. This is done. This is also more advantage of, sorry to interrupt. One more advantage of creating a group instead of splitting is, in case on a longer run, or in case during implementation time itself, if you want to regroup it to a different rollup, yes, that would be pretty easy, right? If you're correct. That's a good point. That's a very good point, because then you can easily change the rollups also when the things change for certain expenses. If you want, there are 10 additional things coming up in miscellaneous. You can add it in the rollup, and it automatically calculates the total miscellaneous expense also. That is again an additional benefit. Once the implementation goes longer, there are certain things that can keep on changing. Now we have covered many things, but there is still one more pending thing which is remaining. And without that, you cannot proceed ahead. I mean, you can start building the account, start building the sheet, start building the group for miscellaneous, but there is something additional which you will not be able to complete in this model. What is that? It's good. Like you have done many. You have answered almost the 90% of the model is correct. Is it? Is it like we have to give access to the sheets that level assigned? No, that's the building part where we will cover it. But with respect to the model, one thing is pending. Only 10% of the model. See, this is the part which we do in the design phase. Whatever you did right now is just nothing but your design phase. Whatever you mean the importing the data, is it? Importing data is after you create the model. After design phase, you create the model, that is called a configuration phase. After configuration, you do testing. In testing, you do the data import and test the data whether it is doing correctly or not. Design phase is something which you're doing currently after reading the requirements. But during the design phase, you need to get 100% go ahead from the client, right? At the moment from me, you have only got 9% go ahead. What is the 10% that is missing? Let's make it simple for you. I'll just highlight what is the line that is missing, and this model is not compute calculating, or having that record that you are maintaining something in the adaptive to tackle this line. I've highlighted the line for you. All the expenses are supposed to be fixed, but miscellaneous expenses are variable. expenditures. This line is missed. How do you tackle it? You can ask me a follow-up question on this. This thing, it won't this come during your importing of your data, wherein you give certain kind of linkage. Correct, because fixed. What is the linkage called in adaptive? Link. You are on the word. What is the linkage called? Is it like a formula assistant? Do you see any formulas here? Do you see anything? It's the correct word you use. It's about linkaging. It's about linkage. You're linking something to something. What is that called in adaptive? In this case, what are you linking to? What would It's written here, all the above expenses. That means you're linking the expenses. You're linking this thing to something. What is that something to? Either it is a fixed expense or there's a variable. What do we call that? You are linking it to an kind of an attribute. Perfect. 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 What is what? What is the one-to-one relationship called? It is an attribute. Research and development expenditures, stationery expense, repairs and maintenance, legal and provision. You're doing a one-to-one to fix, correct? And your miscellaneous. You're doing one-to-one to your variable, correct? What are these called now? What type of attributes? These are called as account level attributes. These are called as a create account attributes. Now this is complete. Now your design phase. I'm going to give you that 100% model is. Go ahead and you can do the configuration part. Now this is the steps that you need to follow for in order to tackle this use case. Perfect. This is what I wanted, the understanding to you. And that's why I wanted this session to be interactive. And this is exactly the way you are going to tackle all kinds of requirements that come in the system. Now, since we have done the design phase, now we will build the model and then we will import the data and test it. Sounds good for you, Runiso? For the next thing, it's correct, right? Like yes, it's correct. It's correct. You read line by line, you go line by line, and this is the correct process of building a model. This again we have. Today's class is about operating expenses model. We will cover this. And during this, I will request a Rini to participate. Let's build this model just by steps given by Thomas. Now create a level. This is done. Create custom account spending. We will build this mod. This accounts as a custom account. Let's try to build it. I will go in modeling. I will go in custom accounts. Wait them to write them down. You go to modeling, you go to custom accounts to build the accounts which are there reflecting in my Excel file. At the moment, you can see several other groups created. Why are these groups curated? You understand it when you add accounts in the standard sheet. If you directly add the group, all the accounts belonging to that group gets easily added. Let's name this model something. I would say other expenses. I would say other expenses model. What I am doing is I'm just creating one group. Other expenses model practice. I'm going to name this. I'm just naming this as a group. Inside this group, I'm going to create this 5 accounts. For one. How do I do that? I click on it. And all of these are my standard accounts. I don't have any driver-based model for this. All of these are standard accounts. That means we are going to do certain kind of data entry in this. Everything is an input account. With what type of feature we use create new account feature. Inside this group, let's create one by one. You can write down the steps if you want to, if you're thorough. Now how to create it. I'm just going to use copy paste. The name is research and development. Here I copy the same. But here I'm going to shrink the name because I don't want this big name. I will use something like this, that it is understandable also. I will use this code for your research and development expense. Otherwise, a simple thing is you can use R&D like this. Like this also you can do. Basically, with the word R&D, you understand that this is for research and development expense. This is custom periodic. Again, we keep everything as standard. This is standard. We don't change anything. This is number or this is currency for you. This is a currency account. When we change this, we don't enter a formula here because we want it to be an input account. Everything is done. I just save it. One account creation is done. You can see the name here and the code here. Similarly, I am going to create the remaining 4 accounts now. I will just copy paste one by one and create it. Now the session is very simple because you have already done the design phase. This takes a lot of time. This takes a lot of time in any implementation. After that, the process is very simple because once you get hands on the system, then the configuration and testing becomes very, very easy. But the problem is in the design phase and the requirement phase. I'm going to do this as we are trying to tell that once we understand the requirement clearly, then it is pretty, you can build it fast. It is very, very, very fast for, the people who have hands-on finance models and the people who they have done a great work on the design phase. Once you have understanding with the existing finance model, the requirement is good and the design is good. Then the next thing is just building and testing. You build, test and import. You build, test and import. Actually, that import function is a lot of work, right? It is. That is where the maximum time gets consumed. Again, this is currency and this is an input account. Second account is created. Similarly, let's create the third and fourth account also. Create account. For this, I will write as RIP maintain expense. I'm just using the short form because I don't want the code to be very, very big. Otherwise, it will be a huge formula for us. Currency again, and this is expense. Third account we have created. It's the same steps. We have only few accounts. I'm creating manually. No need to do the import template. But if you want to, you can always do it manually by import template also. Last is your legal professionals. This is the code for your legal and professional charges. And this is again currency and it's in. 4 accounts are done. Now tell me I want to create this miscellaneous expenses. Inside this I want type 1, 2, 1, 3. When you create type 1, this should roll up to what? This should roll up to miscellaneous and miscellaneous should roll up to your this group. Now you create miscellaneous expense as a group or as an account. Can you tell me? As an account or as a group, what do you will prefer? Any guesses on this? Because both the things, if you do, it is going to create the structure like this only. Inside miscellaneous, you have type 1, 2, 1, 3. But there is one difference. If you use a group and if you use an account, what is that difference? I want to make you understand. We would create a group and merge the other accounts into it, right? Ideally, that is the process. But what feature you should use here? That's my question. Will you use a group? Let's try to say you're trying to build something like this. You're trying to build miscellaneous expenses. And inside that, you're trying to build type 1, type 2, type 3, right? You record anything in that, and it rolls up to this particular value. Suppose there is 100 here, there is 200 here, there is 300 here. What is the total that will come here when you roll up to? It will be 600. Correct. This is the ideal output. Now in adaptive, there are two features. One is your account and one is your group. Similar like this is a group created. And in this group you have R&D, stationery repair, maintenance, and then another miscellaneous system. These are accounts. You can see the code is reflecting here, but the code is not reflecting for this particular thing which you created. This is a group. What happened? If you create this as a group, if this is created as a group, you will not get this total as 600. You will get the bifurcation here, but in miscellaneous expense, there will be nothing reflecting as a total. But if we create miscellaneous expense as an account, then only the total will be reflecting here. You got the understanding, the difference between the two features. If you use miscellaneous, if you create miscellaneous expenses as a group, this will not reflect the 600. The summation of the strings will not reflect in miscellaneous expense. But if you create this as an account, the summation will be reflecting here like this for miscellaneous expense. You will understand it better. Let's create now as an account. First, let's create. But on a realistic or on a practical basis, everybody would want to see the summation, right? Yes, and that's why you will always create a new account, not a good account. Saving this now. Inside this particular expenses, I am going to create type 1, type 2 and type 3. Type 1. Miscellaneous expense. Currency. Standard. You will see it will roll up under this thing, which is correct. Similarly, now I'm going to create another account, type 2, and just save it. And I'll click on miscellaneous, and inside this, I will create the third one and save it. Now, what I was trying to say is what I will do is, for your example, I will create a miscellaneous group. Also, that you understand better what I was trying to say. The name is, I'm just writing as a group. This is just for demo that you understand the difference between this, and I'm going to create a few more accounts. I will say type 4. This is just for demo that you understand the difference between a group and account in, and then adaptive. Now I've created my model. I've created this particular model inside this. I have the 5 expenses. And we just have to see what is the purpose of the miscellaneous expenses group and the account. As you see on the screen, there is a code for miscellaneous expenses total, but there is no code for miscellaneous expense group. But there are certain types of things listed down, one of the other. Now let's move on to your design file, and we have created this custom account. I will just write done. Now what do? You create a standard sheet, right? Inside level assigned, you have written you will create a standard sheet. Let's do that. You'll go to modeling. Far clear, right? We have done with the second step, customer. Where do we go? We go here on level sheets. We click on level assigned sheets and we create a standard sheet for a yes. We are doing this. Steps now standard sheet creation. And here we are. How do we create a standard sheet inside modeling? We go to level assigned. We click on new sheet. I want to give, you want that I view what is the group name that I gave actually. Let's keep the same name. The group name was this other expenses model practice. We'll copy this. Go. The name is. What type of sheet is this standard? Do I change anything here? It's good to go, right? Standard. Then there's a standard. We don't have any prefix. Correct. Now what it is asking, the step on it is asking you to select accounts. Basically, what accounts should be reflecting in your model with the name of this? You have already created it in the background. You have to add it here. How do you search for your accounts? The fastest way is either use a search bar or either use this particular filter. What type of account you built it for this model? It was a custom account. You have certain custom accounts. All the custom accounts will be reflecting here and you can scroll down. You will see certain accounts. Otherwise, you can just search it here. The same thing. And it is reflecting. I've searched the group name. Basically, this name, the group. I've directly searched it here in the builder and it's reflecting now here. I will click on the group and automatically all the accounts listed in this particular group will get added. That's the benefit of creating a group in it. This is the benefit. You can see other expenses model. I have one expense, second, third, fourth. And this is our fifth expense inside that type 1, type 2, type 3. And this again we have added additionally to see what is the difference. This is just for example. We have added the accounts. This step is completed for us. We can move ahead. Always ignore the second page in a standard sheet because this is an additional feature and we don't really use a dimension on a standard sheet. Always ignore the step to it on it. Click on next. Step 3 is by which specifies the view of the sheet. What exactly we need? By default, the sheets are like this. You have the accounts listed on this axis and levels on this axis. We have levels here and accounts here, and this is the time span. But in the third step, it gives you an option whether you want the view by level mode. Once you click on this particular checkbox, what happens is your levels will be reflecting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All the levels will be reflecting here and the accounts will go here. But that is not an ideal way of representation of a model. Always we keep things which is by default, which is not tick. This is not tick. We also don't take it. We saw this in the standard sheet recording. There is a recording for standard sheet also. Correct, correct, correct. Next, now comes the part of which particular levels you want this particular sheet to be given access to. This is the fourth step and the important step in this standard sheet creation, that if you want this particular sheet only to be reflecting for my levels and not for this UX alley rubric or CTR. You don't want this sheet should not be reflecting to these guys. If you want such kind of requirement, you will always come here and select individually which store you want. Individually, I'm going to select all the levels here. It is, if you select each levels, you have to go down and just select all the levels inside that. Chicago, London. We don't have created anything in the stores here, but it's store 104. I want it. Bangalore. Chennai also. And most of your demo is also. I have done my selection of the levels. Whatever you see ticked here, it's applicable for this. This model is going to be visible for these levels. Will it be visible for Japan? The answer is no, because you haven't. This is part of the security. One step of the security that if you have created this as a level assigned model, you need to specify what type of levels should have access to this sheet. I do the creation of the sheet. Once it is created, you just click on done because you have done all the step 1, 2 and 3, 4. And then if you go below, you will see that the model has been created. Just to see the front end, what you will do, you will go to a navigation menu. You will go in this sheet section. You will go in the last, and this is the model. Just to open it and just to see how the model is looking, there will be no data inside that because you just now created this model. This is the model and this is how it is looking. I would say I want only this is the model, and let's say I am going to do this in my version, which is called as a test version. Let's say we are doing it in the test version. And we want the data from January to December. We have this correct template. If you go in the requirements, I have built this model. I have built the levels. I have built the customer accounts and built the standard sheet. This is also done. Now my model is looking like this and I'm with it. What is the remaining step? Your remaining step is group as an account. This is also done. You created both a group. And this is a group and this is an account. You created both, but you will see which one is the best, which one is giving the best example for you. This is also done. What is pending? Create account attributes, and then we have to map them also. Once this is done, the entire model is done. Correct. We will create account attributes now. How do we create account attributes again? Go to model. Then here is the tab account attributes. It can either import or create it. We can either import, but now there is only 2 values. We will just create it. This is the type attribute name and the attribute values. We know the attribute values are either fixed expense or variable expense. Let's name the attribute is a type of expense. This is the attribute name. I would just say underscore also type of expense. And inside this type, I would say there are 2 values. One is your fixed And the second one is your variable. This is done. You have created this attribute. Now what is pending? You need to tag. You need to do the tag. In order to tag, where do you go? This is the attribute. This attribute is going to tag attribute values. These are accounts. You have to go to accounts page. In the accounts page, where did you create the accounts? You go in the custom accounts. In the custom accounts, where do you go? You go in the group which is down below here. Correct. And then if you select one and then you go on the right hand side here, you will see that in account attributes, the final attribute is the one which you just now created. You just go in this, select this and you tag it that this is a fixed expense. And you save it. Just one thing. Like you can correct me if I'm wrong. Like we had created initially one group, right? Assume we had split. We had created two groups for the accounts. We had created two groups for the accounts and one group is specifically for your fixed expenditures. Another one is for your variable. And you have imported the accounts. And later, when you want to create an attribute to the ledgers or the accounts, like here, we are going individually, wise and selecting right. Instead, we could have just selected the other expense model, practice, hyphen, fixed expenditure, and directly given the attribute type as fixed. Is that possible? It is possible. What you are trying to say is another way of tackling this kind of requirement. What happens? Sometimes they forget this. In case if you're not using your upload, this would actually make your tagging much easier. Correct? Correct. 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 It makes sense, right? Yes, it makes sense. What happens is you create a fixed account. You create 1, 2, 3, 4 inside this fixed account. Basically, this rolls up into your fixed account. This is also an account. This is an account. At the moment, this fixed and variable is an account attribute in our system because this model demands only for analysis purpose. That's why we create it as an attribute. But if it is required for planning and you know additional things, whatever the company requires, they want it in the PL. They want the fixed thing to be reflecting the sheet directly. You give them this particular thing as an account, but at the moment, in case in, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in case in this example. Also, if you go to the other Excel, nowhere we have created as here. We have created all these 4 expenditures. For example, research, stationery repairs and maintenance, legal expenses, miscellaneous. These are grouped to your other expenses, model practice. Correct. What I'm trying to tell is other expenses, model practice, hyphens, variable expenditure, and group only the variable expenditures under this particular group. Correct. Correct? Yes, you can do it. You can do that. And later you venue. But there is one catch. You cannot attach the attribute to a group. You can only do it your ledger individual wise. You can only do it to an account. This is an account. This is an account group. You can only do it to an account. You can attribute to this also, but you cannot attach an attribute to miscellaneous expenses group. For example, there is nothing here coming that you can. Can you attach an attribute to other expenditure model practice that group? You can do it, but I don't think. It should be working fine. I feel let's try it because the reason is because in the example, what I gave you miscellaneous will not fall under this. We are creating a separate group altogether since your parent is fixed. Your child also automatically become a fixed, right? Correct. Correct. For example, let's do for miscellaneous expenses here. Inside miscellaneous expenses, we have the type 1, 2 and 3. All of these are variable. You are saying that if you do attach directly for this one as variable, automatically these values will be getting the same value. Correct. That you can do that. That you can do. But when you are, for example, let's check for type 1, if it is reflecting or not. It is reflecting. It should practically reflect, right? It should reflect. But this is not the same case when you do for levels. If you remember currencies, you're not able to have the same currency. Individual levels can have different levels. That's why attribute in accounts behave differently and attributes in level behave differently. Now, what I was trying to say is yes, in your case, which you said hyphen, variable hyphen, this you can attach the thing in the group also. But the problem becomes it does not really gives you, the correct approach for doing this. Always do it individually or do at the roll-up account like this, but not at the group level, basically. Because group is, you are only utilizing this for a better representation for the sheet. You as soon as you would say disable, collapse this. This is nothing, but this is the purpose of adding it in the group. Because when you create the model, you just add this group and all the accounts listed there gets added here. But yes, or two in your case. If you create two groups and do underscore variable, underscore fix, you can attach the attribute directly to the group and all the things will be listed as a variable and fixed. Yes, you can do that. At the moment, I'm doing it as manually. I'm attaching this as fixed. And then repair and maintenance also fixed. You can do this via upload template also. You can attach directly to the group also. You can attach directly to a roll-up group also. Roll-up account also. You can do both. At the moment, I have done the tagging and then this is also done. You have done. You have configured all the things in adaptive. Create account attributes and done the tagging also. You have done with the design phase. You are done with the configuration phase. Any questions for? Because we have completed 1 hour and we have completed this case study. We have able to design it. We are able to develop it also. Development is also complete. Now only thing is we need to test it how it looks. Any question? No questions. Good start, right? It's a very good start. I did not expect you to be like in. You also experimented in a detailed manner. That's why you are creating the account. What type of account? It was a very, very positive response from you. I liked it. It's good. Actually, I was making notes when you were explaining. Nice. Very nice. That actually helped me. Thanks. Sometime later. Maybe you can teach adaptive also. You never know. Now we will import certain data here. As you can see, the sheet is locked for us. We are not able to fill in some data. I'm going to load data for, let's say, I'm going to load only for India inside Mumbai for land 1. It's grayed out. I'm not able to load data. Let's do it with the import template. How do you go with the import template? You integrations, import data. I'll click on import data. Select the version in the file. Then select the plan version. I'm going to do it in. Which version? Testing, test. Select. I'm selecting test here. And this is standard. I'll just download the template because this is a standard sheet. I will click on sample data import here. This is the file which we will use it for your import template. It's coming. We delete this by default row because it is only for our reference. We delete the region column because we don't require this. The region, code and name. We never delete the C column, which is split level, and we keep it blank. We don't fill or we don't delete rest of the things. A column, B column. We will fill it. And then which particular months we want. At the moment, we have only till. I will drag it till December that we have certain data. It's not there. Let's try to do it now. No, it's not happening. I will just write it down. I have the months now. Accounts. All of these are my accounts, which where I want the data. I will go here. I want to load the data individually for all these accounts. I would copy the name like this research and expense. Stationery expense. IOP. No repair and maintenance. IOP. Legal and professional charges. I will copy. Now tell me, can you load data on miscellaneous expenses? You have to go to type 1, type 2, type 3, right? Correct. Because this is a roll-up account. You cannot load data at the roll-up accounts. You have to always have the child. Correct? Type 1. It's the same. I just write it. Now B column I need to fill. This is a store. No, not this model store 101. I will just see what is the code for store 101. I will just search it here. There is a search option. Also, you can directly search for the desired store and it reflects and you can copy the code. There is no underscore. I'm using underscore here in the code. This is all. Store 101 in this column. A column is done and B column is done. Now let's see a random data here. I've entered some data randomly. Just copy paste it. I've done with the account mapping. I've done with the level mapping. Now I've done with the data. Now let's see what happens when I upload this data in our sheet, which we just built. Standard. I'll choose the file. Good to go. I will import it. If you had attended all the sessions far, then today's session will be very interactive for you because we have just covered everything that we have learned far. Actually, it's a feel-good factor as well. I get things right. Correct. We are facing some problems here, which is saying that we are getting unmapped identifier because it is not correctly mapped. There is a manual way of mapping. What we can do? We click on individual things. We click for the first one and we search it here. And you can see in custom accounts, we have built it. I would select here and accept. Same goes with repair. I will just search for repair here and just search this one. Then I will search for research. And it is this one, R&D. This was our code, right? And then the stationery expense. I will click here. Search for it. This is a stationery expense. Once this is done, the error automatically goes away because it pops up that once whenever you do the first time import of a new account, the first thing is you need to do the mapping thing. If the system is not able to identify it correctly, then you do this manually. Now we have done with this. Let's continue. Now it will ask for the level mapping. Now the system has already identified it automatically because in the Excel file you mentioned it correctly. Store unknown and store to 1. Now import plan data. Let's see if we get any errors, but it's successful. It's successful. Let's refresh the model and see if the data is reflecting for store un101. Oh, we did not load data for type 4 and type 5. I wanted to do that also. Let's do one thing. Again, I'll use the same template. Downloads. I will just copy this. And this was type 4 and type 5. This is not required because the data is already there. And I will just change the numbers here. 1000. Now I'm loading the data for this types also because at the moment you see there is no data. Once that is done, you will understand what exactly a group works and how a roll-up account works. Let's do this again. Import page fill. Here we select the test version. Standard sheet. Correct. Choose the file. Open this. This is correct. This is correct. Now, once you have already done the mapping, it will not show the error again. At the moment we don't have errors here. Level is also. Import blended. It's successful. You see how much time it takes only for the input. It is half a minute. It's just the Excel file creation. That is a time-consuming thing. But we suppose the Excels are already ready in the systems. It is about running the lookups. I just had one question. Like when you're importing, right? Will the system take import if there are certain kinds of formulas in the Excel? Good question. It does not take. It will throw an error. You have to just copy paste the values, right? It's a very good question actually because if the Excel file has any kind of formulas, any kind of array, if any one cell also has a formula, is equal to something, any syntax, the adapter will not take that file only. It directly throws out of the window and integration is failed. Basically, you will not see anything. Always enter numbers in the Excel file and nothing else. Only number is allowed and date is allowed. That's it. And nothing else. We have the data right. We built this model whatever there was written in Excel file. We built step by step. We did the design phase. We did the development phase. Now we are doing the testing phase. We are in the testing phase. This is an input model. And D is stationary is repair maintenance. But for miscellaneous expenses, which model is more preferable? Looking at the screen, account. Miscellaneous type 1, 2, 3, you get the total account something. Correct. If you click this collapse, you will see the total reflecting here. This is the correct way of approach. Correct approach. But now let's see for this type 4 and type 5. There is nothing called as total coming up like this. There is nothing. The adaptive by default creates a total account for every roll-up account. This is a roll-up account inside that we have 3 child. It's creating a roll-up account. When you collapse it, you see the total, but when you collapse this, what do you see? You see nothing. Correct. Then I think it is a very incorrect way of presenting it. Correct. It is from a FP&A perspective. It is an incorrect way of presenting. Correct. Similarly, if you collapse other expense model practice, you will see nothing. Why nothing? Because this is a group. You cannot load it on the group. You can only load it on the accounts. Similarly for this category, the best approach was having a roll-up account and categorize it this way to get the total. If you use a group, this is the problem. If you use a split and do the same, the problem is you cannot address the type 4 and type 5 later on. That's the problem when you use the split. And this is the problem when you use a group. Always use a roll-up account feature when you are categorizing the types, several types inside one particular account. Sounds good. This model is. Any questions, Far? Reen, you're also clear for this. Because this is also one basic level of interview question that what happens if you create a group in account and a roll-up account, like a group in an account and a roll-up account. What is the behavioral difference between these two things? This is the explanation for that. Then if you have a roll-up account, you also get the total for the child accounts. But in the group, you don't get the total and it's not displayed in the sheet. You are in order to see the individual things. You always have to collapse it because if you always have to expand it. If you collapse, there is nothing visible on the sheet. Always use a roll-up account in the sheet. Now, since we have done this particular case study, the thing is today that we are going to build one normal model. Basically, it's an operating expenses model where if you know every operating expenses model will have the SG and expenses listed down. There are certain models where they have the selling cost list listed, where they capture different kind of line items. It can be salaries of the people. It can be commission. It can be travel expenses. Similarly, general costs. There is rent, utilities and equipment, stuff that you record. And then there is administrative costs where you record certain management salaries and other stuff. But then this is a separate model. This is one model that you will build. But now the problem is this expenses needs to flow in the income statement. Correct. Sometimes people directly flow in the same account as an SGA expense. All the accounts will flow directly in this account. But if they want individually selling costs, general costs, and administrative costs, you will do the total and you will link it to the cell. You will do the total for general cost. You will link it to the cell. You will do the total for this course. You will link it to the cell. This is one model. And this is your second model. You are doing the linkages from one model to another model. Today we will do this exercise. Also, we will quickly build this simple income statement. And we will link the one account to this and this account to this. This now, the remaining 45 minutes will be this. Now I want to make me understand if I need to capture this operating expenses model. This is my operating expenses model. You tell me what is my approach going to be. This is my operating expenses model and this is my income statement. This is the model which I need to build. These are the line items that I'm recording. What is my approach should be? Oh, let me look at it. It is a simple model. We are just building similar kind of thing. It's going to be similar to this thing. What is the approach for tackling this model, which is operating expense? I don't understand this report. What is selling? If you know any kind of a financial statement of an operating expense, they have to record their selling costs, the general costs, and their administrative costs. These are the parent accounts that I have listed in yellow. And what do you see in this particular cells? These are your child accounts which are rolling up to your parent. Basically salaries, benefits, commission are all part of selling costs. Rent, utilities, equipment are all part of your general costs. And these two are part of your administrative costs. But all of this total is nothing but your operating expenses. We are creating a model to record these expenses in a different model, but then we want this data to flow in our income statement. This is our task. We want to build this model first, then we build this particular model. This is your model number 1. This is your model 1. And then this is your model 2. Once you have built this, then you can do the linkages. The approaches. You need to understand what type of sheet needs to be built. At the moment on the screen, you only see accounts, correct? You're capturing the accounts. There is no dimension. There is no attribute. There is no nothing, correct? What you do is you simply create this as a standard sheet. I will just write down. You will create it as a standard sheet. You will create custom accounts for this. Once you have done this 2 steps, you just add it. And then, for the ones you are highlighted in yellow, the yellow color accounts should be your roll-up accounts. It should be like this. It should be created like this miscellaneous expense. You see, selling expenses, the total reflect. And then the selling expenses, all the things will be reflecting here. Like this, we are building this model now selling cost. Similarly for general, similarly for administrative. Sounds good. Good for you, Thomas. Yes, I did. Perfect. Now we will build a similar model and then you will understand that once the model has been built, how you can create a separate model and just link it. Now I will quickly create this accounts. How do I create this accounts? I will go in my modeling. I will go in this custom accounts. Now this is a new model, new separate model. I'm going to create a separate group similar to like this. I will create a separate group. I will name it as other expenses model practice. This is my group name. Oh, sorry. Operating expenses. We have built two groups. Inside this, I will create selling cost, general cost, administrative cost. Let's create one by one, or either we can do it by import template. This, we will do it with import template. How do we do import template? Import account structure. Then download the template, that content. And then just open the file. It's opening. Is my screen visible, guys? Because I can see it's hanging a bit. It's visible for me. I'm just creating this account's selling cost. I'll just write all of this one below the other. This is my general cost. I'm creating this template that I can do in one go because I don't want to create it manually. It will take a lot of time. This is the another way of doing it. I'm creating this one. Rolls up to this. This is rolls up to this. This is rolls up to this. Now all these accounts. This should roll up to selling cost. This should be the approach. The general cost and admin cost. And then the administrative cost. This is for you. How did I categorize it? This is the structure I want in adaptive. I would say it's periodic. Type is periodic. This E column is mandatory. I would say this is the same. I will just use or I will just remove the spaces directly. It's to speed up our session. General cost rent is this. This is. Code is done. And I think there is one more account which is display as. It should be currency for all. I've done it for all. Let's try to import this and let's see any doubts in this because we are just creating this particular sheet. Sorry accounts that we can create a sheet out of that. Let's see. Let's see if we get any errors that we can fix it. No, or all the accounts are created. Oh, I don't see the accounts, but no, it's not done. Let's see. Let's do it again. I don't know why it happened. Import update date. Choose file upload. Now we can see that whatever more accounts that we had imported in the template, it's reflecting here. Operating expenses group. And then we have three role, up account selling cost, general cost, administrative cost, like similar to this one. Inside selling cost. You will see all of these accounts listed one below the other. You will see selling cost is here. You can see salaries and all of that. Then you can see general cost. It's loading rent utility equipment. It's created. Then you can see administrative cost it's created. One part of the thing is done. We have created the accounts. We have created yellow accounts as the roll up. That is done. Let's create a standard sheet for this model. How do we create that? We go in modeling. We create a level assigned sheet for this also, and then we click on new sheet. It's loading new sheet. The name is operating expenses model practice. This is the name of our sheet and it's a standard sheet. We will keep it as it is. We click on next. Then we will be adding what accounts we require in this model. We require the operating expenses model. I'm just going to search. This is not the thing. I will click on search again operating expenses. Let's search. Keep on searching until our name comes. This is our model. Operating expenses model. We have selling cost and we have done the salary. I just click on the parent one, the group, and I just add it to this group. You can see in this sheet, we have added this, all the accounts that we just now uploaded. Now one step is done. We click on next. We always ignore the step 2 of our standard sheet because there are no dimensions in the sheet. Step 3. We also ignore this step because we don't want the view by level mode. We always want it by your account mode. We always ignore and keep it by default. This sheet is also, again, only for those levels and not for the other remaining levels. How do we tackle that? The step 4 is basically making you select whichever levels you want. You will do the thing again. It's just like we did for the previous sheet. Let's scroll down. You'll have to individually select all the levels. Store runner 6. Philadelphia store runner 2 set. Chicago also. This is the lowest level here. Nothing under Manchester and London. We have Mumbai, then we have store runner 1 and 2. We have nothing under Bangalore. Store runner 4 Chennai, Australia. We have done the selection of the levels, and the step 4 is also completed. You just click on Create Sheet and then click on Done. Once you have clicked on Done, you can see in the bottom this sheet is also created. How do you see the front end? We just come here. Sheets, the below you can see. This is the model which we have just built. This is exactly the model which we wanted in the screen. All the selling cost, the rent and everything is reflecting here. Now we have to enter some data here, correct? How do we do that? We again click on the import template that we can upload the data. Let's go in the test version again. We are in the test version, and let's say for this example, we are working on the data. We are working on some store under Philadelphia, maybe store N107. We are working on store N07. We are computing the operating expenses model for this store. We want certain values this from this. Let's download the template for this. How do you download? You go in the navigation menu, you click on integration and then click on import data. Then you select the correct version and then you select a version which is the test version. Standard is because this is a standard sheet. We just download the template and just open this. I will also open my previous template of the accounts which I have imported, that I can copy paste the names. That our import template is very quick. This is our import template instructions, actuals version. We delete the first row. We don't require. We delete teen region. We don't require. We want this March 23. Let's load the data only for the 3 months of 2023. We are not loading the data for the remaining months. I want to fill in the data. Your accounts, whichever account it is, I want to fill the levels. I want to fill the data for 3 months. What accounts are there in this model? We will write it down here. All the child accounts should be mentioned in our import template. Can you load data in selling cost, general cost, administrative cost? The answer is no, because this is roll-up accounts. You cannot load data on the roll-up. Always mention the child accounts and load the data. That's why I downloaded. I open the previous template where we have already listed down this. I'll just copy paste this in our import template. This is the input template and I will delete general cost. I will delete administrative cost because they are our roll-up accounts. Any doubts? Because we are only uploading the data for our child accounts. Now which particular store we are working, store and order 7. Let's just see what is the code of my store. 107, that we don't get a mismatch. I'm just copy pasting the code written here. It's like this. I will use instead underscore. In the template, I am going to use this thing in the B column. I will do for all the levels. This is the thing. Now I will enter some random numbers. $20,000. 80,000, 80,000, 80,000, 60,000. I'm just entering some random values and then we can load the data. If these values are comma separated formatted, will it be a problem? Sorry, can you come again if these numbers are formatted with commas and decimals? It's normally we keep it as general. We don't have any other data. This template demands that you keep the number in number format, keep the date in date format, and not use any other. And also, if you add any formula like this, you know some and you do kind of any addition, if the template has a formula, just like Thomas was asking the question, you will not be able to import this data. Because in this Excel file there is no. There should be no formula written. That is also one thing. We are importing this data. Let's see, I've done with the A column, done with the B, and the three columns. We have filled in the data. I will just click on Save. Oh sorry, click on Info and copy path and I will import the data here. Again, this is test. This is correct. I will choose the file. I will import the data. We will see the My. Now accounts mapping is there. We need to do the account mapping here, one by one. We do the mapping. Distribution should be mapped to distribution management. Basically, whenever you upload any data, we follow the account mapping process, then we follow the level mapping. Once it is mapped, then only we can proceed, otherwise we cannot proceed. In this window, we have to map. Map it first before we go ahead. I'm going to map the office supplies. This is the office supplies, the professional, and then the travel expenses. This is our account. Done. Once you have mapped all the accounts, the error messages disappeared. I will do next. And then it will ask me for my store, a mapping which is entrance n. It will do the mapping also. This is the level mapping, and then I click on import plan data, and then the import will be completed. Now, if you open the operating expense model for Unrun 7, we will see some data for these 3 months. Let's refresh. Can you see now in this screen, you can see selling cost bifurcated like this, general cost bifurcated like this. If you want to see the total, you just collapse all the things. Now, this is the thing of operating model that they can see selling cost individually, general cost individually, and administrative cost individually also, right? If they want to expand, they can use the expand option and they get the bifurcation. One type of model is this, where we created operating expenses model. But now what they want is the client is demanding that I want another model, which is my final income statement, and all the expenses from this sheet should flow here in this final model. Now from this model, this data, the 21,500 flow in our income statement. I will quickly create one normal income statement with a simple account. Let's create that. I will create a normal income statement practice. I will create as a group income statement practice. I've created a group here, and then I am going to create one account in the group. If you are familiar with an income statement, there are several accounts that are reflecting for any company's income statement. Right. There could be the revenue captured, there could be expenses captured, right? Similarly, for operating expenses, there are line items which are necessary to be reflecting in the final income statement. And that's why you need a model to compute it. Now I'm going to create SSGNet SGA expenses as of parent thing. Suppose in some kind of final income statement models, they are recording the currency, they are recording the expenses in one account only. I'm just creating this. I will save it. I will make you understand that what I'm trying to do. I will quickly create a model for income statement now. I will quickly go here. Level assign sheets. I will click a new sheet. I'm creating a demo income statement. Income statement is the same process. This is the third sheet that we are building today. I'm going fast because you will understand it. Income statement. I will just write practice. It's again a standard sheet. We don't do anything here. I'm going to add. I will just search for the income statement practice group and then add it to the group and the account which we created. It's reflecting here. Click on next. This we ignore. Step 2 is ignored. Next step 3 is ignored. Next step. At the moment I am just clicking everything because income statement ideally is applicable for all the levels. Every level needs to be the income statement access because they will need the computation for all by individual levels. I clicked even the access to this sheet for all the levels. I created this sheet. Once it is done, click on done and you will see the front end of the sheet. And now you will try to understand. You will exactly understand what I am trying to achieve here. Let me just open the sheet for you. And this is your final sheet which you created today, which is income sheet. Let's create income statement here. Let's go in our test version. What I'm trying to achieve is this is the test was. This is in your operating expense model, which you just now created. In the test version for store 107, you recorded certain data here, right? Selling cost, general cost, and individual line cost. In this model, you are recording the cost, but you need these expenses to flow somewhere, that these expenses should flow to your income statement here. Insto. Now you will understand what we are trying to achieve in this particular income statement sheet for store unknown 7. I need some data to come out here for January, February and March. At the moment, can you see data? No, you cannot see data. This is the task that you created an operating model and you can. You are inputting the numbers for individual things, but this expenses should flow somewhere and that is your income statement. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to create this income statement as a driver-based model. This was an input-based model. Everything was an input. There was no drivers, there was no calculated accounts, right? But here this is entirely a driver-based model where there will be linkages coming and flowing from several models to this particular final model. Now what we are trying to do is, we will do the linkages of this account plus this account plus this account here in this particular account. You getting? For January, February and March, we should get some data. That is the end goal. How do we do that? We have to write a formula in the backend. I will go in the modeling section where we created the custom accounts. I will have to write the formula in the income statement account for the SG expense. I will write something like this. I will click on income statement. I will click on SG expense as a whole, and then I will scroll down on the right hand side to data type, and this is the formula. I am going to click on the formula assistant. The formula assistant is the place where we are writing the formula, where we are mentioning the drivers, basically. We know the logic. What is the logic for this? It is nothing but the addition of these row number 2, 10 and 16. Basically everything. The total needs to be reflecting in our income statement for January, correct? What I will do is I will write some formula here for SK expense account. Here I will select custom because these are custom accounts. Now I am going to address certain accounts from other model. We are in the income statement model, right? SG expense belongs to this model. But we want some data from operating expenses model, correct? I am just expanding the operating expenses model, and you can see there are 3 accounts as a roll-up. I am going to select these 3 accounts in this formula that I add directly the total cost. What I will do? There are 2 options that I can do. I can select individual childs one by one, or I can either select the parent one. The simplest method is directly select the roll-up account. Basically what I will do, I will double click on selling cost, it got added here. Plus, I will double click on general cost, it got added here. I will double click on administrative cost. This is the simple formula. This is the simple formula that I am writing here, and I will click on. I think the cell is not editable. We are not able to write formula 1 second. We are not able to change the formula for this 1 second when we start creating a new account. This is disabled. The idea is basically we write the formula of selling cost and this that it reflects in this income statement. As soon as you write the formula, the addition of this, basically 2500, 2500, 2595, everything close to 6 lakh will be reflecting here. Same for February, same for March. The total here, that is reflecting individually, you will see as a total here. At the moment, we are not able to do that because my formula is not. I am not able to write formula because we don't have the edit access to this origin, I think. But you understood the formula, right? It's a simple formula of making the addition of 3 accounts. Another way to write the formula is you simply select all the child accounts. For suppose, they don't want certain accounts to be imported. What you will do is you will click individually like this: salaries, benefits, commission, double click. You will do travel expenses, double click, distribution, double click, marketing cost, double click. Then you go and rent, double click, utilities and office supplies. You can select one by one and the formula will be becoming huge. In order to make it short, we decided with the first formula, which was this is one way of writing the formula. This is one way of writing the formula. Another way is you just select the parent. One like this, general cost like this, and the administrative cost. There are the same output. But you can write a formula like this, and you can write like this also. There are certain cases where there are exceptions that they don't want the distribution cost or any marketing cost to be added in this expenses. You can just delete this and utilize this formula instead, because what happens? It is by default captured here. You cannot remove the marketing cost and the distribution cost from this. You're right. In order to do the changes in this formula, what is the best approach? You will do. You will select whichever cost you are removing from your then distribution cost minus your marketing cost. Like this. This is one way of writing the same formula correct, because this one is your roll up accounts, and in the roll up accounts it is by default covered that the distribution and marketing is already captured. You want to remove them from this. You did a minus sign. And the same account. The same formula is written up here, is basically the addition of all the child accounts apart from distribution and marketing cost. That's it. This is the difference. Any questions? The only thing I could not show you is the values flowing out here, because I'm not able to save this thing. It's not allowing me to write the formula. But once you just save it, the values reflecting in this model, operating model, will reflecting the income statement model. It's just basically a value flowing from this model to this model. That was the work that we wanted to achieve today. But the rest of the thing is fine, and you understood the 3 model creation today. One was your other expenses model. One is your operating expense model and the income statement model, and the linkages, how you can link the sheet. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.